Straight to Emily, who's with us today for the press review. She's starting off with the latest from the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, the Ukrainian strikes on Russia have been getting quite a lot of coverage. Let's start with the Washington Post. It has this article here today looking at those attacks, saying it was Ukraine's largest and most deadly attack on Moscow since 2022. It killed 3 people in the Moscow area and then a 4th in the Belgorod region. Now, 556 Ukrainian drones were shot down over Russia on Saturday evening, according to Russia's defense ministry. Let's have a look at Time magazine. It has this article here. Its headline quoting Zelensky there. It says that the Ukrainian president said that Ukraine's long-range capabilities are significantly changing the situation because its forces are now able to strike targets 500 kilometers from the border. Now, according to Zelensky, the strikes were also a message to the Russian people, quotes, their state must end this war. There's an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal this morning here saying that Ukraine is no longer playing a losing game, a reference, of course, to the press conference between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, where Trump told him that he did not have the cards. Now, according to this opinion piece, Ukraine is expected to be able to produce 400 drones a day, and that would definitely give them a very good hand. Now, The Economist is taking a look into some of the details here, saying that Russia is starting to lose ground in Ukraine and that the tide might be turning. The article goes through Russia's casualties first, as we can see here in this graph down below there. It says that by the 12th of May 2026, between 280,000 and 518,000 Russian soldiers have been killed, with the total casualties, so including wounded soldiers, between 1.1 million and 1.5 million, meaning that around 3% of Russia's pre-war male population of fighting age has been either killed or wounded. It has another graph, though, looking at the territorial gains and losses over the course of the war. As you can see there, it says that Russia has sustained its first net loss in territory since October 2023. Now, this article offers 2 explanations. Either Russia is stalling before a push in the summer, or it could be a turning point in the war. And finally on this, let's have a look at an opinion piece in the Kyiv Post here in Ukraine. It says that Putin might finally need to find peace. The author argues that as the US is sidelined for its, quote, incompetence, that Europe might become the default moderator.
Something different. Back here to France, the Cannes Film Festival taking something of a sour turn.
Yes, it's on the front page of Libé this morning, Libération in France. Here it calls it a Sunday of reprisals. The head of Canal+ has threatened to blacklist over 600 actors, writers and artists who signed a letter opposing Vincent Bolloré and his extending reach in the industry. This is Vincent Bolloré in the pink there. And it has a 2-page spread on this story, which we can have a quick look at here. Its headline there reads, Canal+ sees red and creates its blacklist. And Zappé Bolloré, what you can see in the pink down there, refers to the name of the collective that published that letter. Now, they explain that the influence of the far right in French productions risks turning into a, quote, fascist takeover of the collective imagination. Politico also has an article on this topic, but it's looking at the political side of it. The far-right politicians and their, quotes, crusade against French cinema. It explains that French filmmakers are afraid that the National Rally might win at next year's presidential election, which might spell the end of, quotes, a generous system of state funding that helped turn France into a promised land of film and television.
Yeah, wonderful. For you now in the press review, this is The Guardian has a long read today about Venezuela.
Yes, it's a very interesting long read in The Guardian, a 2-page spread on Venezuela here, talking about Venezuelans being bewildered in the post-Maduro era. It says that Caracas residents are still confused, but they're happy that things are slowly changing. For instance, portraits of Maduro being painted over, journalists are let back in the country, people are protesting for new elections. But alongside this optimism, many are baffled of the close relationship between the fallen dictator's allies and the Trump administration, and that some locals are worried that the US cares more for Venezuela's resources than for its people.
Now, of course, finally from Emily, the Times today is reporting on 2 new trends amongst Gen Z. That means I won't have a clue what this is about.
Yes, you won't have a clue, and I'm Gen Z, but I also don't have a clue. But, you know, the cost of living is affecting everyone, so Gen Z is trying to find new creative ways of having fun, and they've come up with a new one, which is hosting pickle parties. Now, they're all the rage, apparently, happening all over the place. They include pickle statues, which I can show you a picture of here. This is a lovely pickle statue that you could have at your pickle party. It also has pickle platters that you could have there with a nice little dip, and also pickle cocktails here, as you can see, with a lovely cornichon or gherkin sticking out of the glass. Now, I have a phobia of pickle juice, so it's really not my thing, but there's an even more scandalous piece of news in the Times about Gen Z's habits when it comes to partying. Apparently, in France now, beer is more popular than red wine for the very first time. Apparently, younger, cash-strapped drinkers prefer a relaxed pint to a more formal bottle of red. So, yeah, apparently a pint and a pickle is going to be the summer thing.
Well, the second bit's a scandal. I'm more worried about you having a phobia of pickle juice, to be honest, Emily. But we'll talk about that off air.
Yeah.
Emily Ball, the paper's on France 24. More coming up straight after the break.